say, maybe in a long-winded sentence, you could say, based on no longer adding value, based on one monetary investment, which would have declined as the cases decline, and also based on the fact that you pull people from other stations and you don't replace them over time, which means that where they come from, they leave gaps. So they, in my view, you are no longer optimizing and using those resources equal to the value.
Sure whether it was a voice note or they told me, said in this voice note, there's a part I want you to hear. So, and Chair, again, under oath, he said that under oath. It's not a soft thing that you can just downplay as if, no, here, you're not coming as a victim or suspect or what. Chair, whatever he says here is under oath. The large Chair.
And what we are saying now is exactly what General Sibia said when my colleague asked him, Uguti, uyiphasile or uyifailile? And you know what happened when there was that conversation? Yeah, General Sibia said that, yebo angiphasanga kodwa. So we are doing the same thing. My question is simple to you. Let me put it again to you. When we listen to the recording, there's no way General Mkhwanazi has threatened you. Do you agree or we are changing? Because you responded earlier. I'm asking this question deliberately to say, on record again, don't contradict yourself on this question. The question is simple. That when he spoke to, because we listened to that, there was no threat. Unless we are changing, we say there was a threat there because you say he was angry.
The threat was not in the audio that we listened to. There was only a reference. But the threat was in their conversation on the 2nd. That's where the threat was. And I thought it had been recorded. And I found that it was not part of what was recorded because it happened before the recording.
No, but
Minister, it was not in this record.
No, but Minister, you are misleading us again.
We have to close it properly if you are saying we're going to close this part. The Minister either must accept that he was misleading the House or he honestly thought that thing was there. That's why he committed that in the next, I'm the one who said, in the next meeting, just come with that part. And he said, no problem, we'll come with it. But how do you say you will come with a part you never had? Because he was making us to play something he never had. So had we not insisted on that part being brought, this House would have been misled. Either he was doing it deliberately, and if he was not doing it deliberately, he has to apologize to the people of South Africa, who sat in anticipation that a minister who has taken an oath, and even not just an oath, also took an oath in this House to tell nothing else but the truth. If he made a mistake, he must say to the people of South Africa, I apologize, I made an error of judgment, it's not there, this issue is not there. Unless he was deliberately misleading us. But if you have made an honest mistake, you have to apologize. And I insist that he has to apologize if he made an honest mistake. People have left what they were doing, waiting to come and hear a part where a general is threatening a minister. That's not a serious, it's not a simple allegation to be made and just leave it like that. That allegation was made. Now there is an acceptance. There is no evidence to that effect. I was actually misled, and I therefore apologize. That is what we insist on, Honorable Chair, for this matter to be closed.
Firstly, I was concerned of Chair that the minister advised Mr. Nkabinde to record General Mkhwanazi without the consent or knowledge of General Mkhwanazi. So I thought it would be important that we consult some necessary and relevant legal prescripts in that regard. But I also saw that actually the RICA Act does allow one to record a communication if they are part of. So it gives two instances, two conditions, Chair, that if that person is part of that conversation and that person is not using that to commit a criminal offense. So I was quite worried, Mkhwanazi. But this is the point where we've got different ways of interpreting what was happening. General Mkhwanazi testified and said, Mr. Nkabinde said to him, there may be unknown people who have tapped in his communication devices without his knowledge. Now, when you testify that you would have advised the chief of staff to make a recording of the conversation between him and General Mkhwanazi. What is your take on that?
Now, what I said, and also inclusive of the correction of the hitch that happened in the other room, on the second, when they started talking between them, General Mkhwanazi and Nkabinde, they talked about the things that I indicated, and that included on the first day that what I regarded as a threat, that if Minister Mkhunu believes that he is clean, he should proceed with this. That was said on the first day. But on the 5th, when they spoke on the 3rd and 4th, and then they spoke on the 5th. Then that is when the recording started. Now, when they start the recording, they acknowledge what they had discussed on the 2nd, as you heard the other time. That needed to be clarified. Yes, they did speak about a supposedly screenshot conversation between them, but they themselves say they didn't know how that came about, but it had omission of things that they thought anyone who would have recorded them would have included them, but excluded some of those things. So you say you are concerned about that.